Good afternoon to one and all. This is the continuation of the previous videos for the subject IT 3401 Web Essentials. Now we will continue. Now we will see about what is this web browser. Web browser is a kind of software which is basically used to use a resource on the web. The main purpose of this web browser is to display the web page that is being placed as a request by the browser to the web server. The various commonly used types of web browsers are Internet Explorer, Mozilla Firefox, Netscape Navigator, Opera, Google Chrome and Safari. Now we can look into this diagram. These are the various components of the web browser. So first we have the title bar, which is on the top of the browser. Next comes the menu bar, which has the various menus like file, edit, help, etc. Then comes the third one, navigation toolbar, where we will type our URL, that is the website address. Then comes the next one, which is the status bar, which shows the status of the web browser. Then the last is the client area, that is the body of the browser. How does this web browser work? We will see step by step. Step number one is, first the web browser will reformat the URL and send it as a valid HTTP request. When the user types the address of the website in form of a domain name in the browser, that browser converts this particular website into the corresponding that is IP address by a help of this DNS. Then after doing this process, the web browser establishes the connection with the server, and thereby it will place the request. Then after placing the request, the web server processes the request, and after processing request, the server will return or it will respond to the browser by displaying the appropriate web page. Next is about the web server. It is a special type of server to which the web browser submits the request of the web page, which is desired by the client. Now these are the various functions of the web server. First, it will accept the request from the browser. Second is, it will process the request and it will provide the required service for the web browser. Then the main important function is, it also uses a DNS to translate the domain name into the corresponding IP addresses. Then at last, it will have the session handling techniques. That is, it will monitor who's placing the request at what time and at what time the server is going to give the response. That is what is called as session handling techniques. Now you can see in this diagram, we have the web browser and the web server connected through the internet. The web browser will place a request to the server and the web server will give the corresponding response. Now we will see the working principle of a website. So first, step number one is, user is requesting for the web page. That is, the user will type the URL in the web browser. Then the web browser communicates with the DNS server for the domain name resolution. Step number three is, the DNS server will look up for the IP address for the corresponding page and send that IP address to the web browser. The web browser, now after getting the IP address, sends it as a request to the web server. The web server searches with the help of the IP address with its own DNS and get the corresponding HTML page, and it will display in the web browser of the user. This is how the website is working. Now you can see in this particular diagram, user is typing the URL, that is, for example, www.google.com. That is entered in the web browser, and the web browser is going to send it to the DNS server. Then the DNS server will convert that URL into the corresponding IP address, that is 192.168.1.4. that will be sent as a request to the server. Now based upon the request, the server will fetch the HTML and the other files, and it will send the response as the corresponding web page to the user. Now we will see about what is this web page. Web page is a document which is available on the World Wide Web. So there are two types of web pages, static web page and dynamic web page. Static web pages means that the contents on the web page will be static, will not change at all. Now this is practically not possible because we need to update the page then and there. Now second is the dynamic web page. Here the information shown on the web page will be updated then and there. That is why it is called as a dynamic web page. That is being depicted in this particular diagram. Now steps in creating a website. So first one is, you need to create a web page using the technologies like HTML, CSS, JavaScript, PHP, etc. Then step number 2 is choose the corresponding web hosting service. Like for example, GoDaddy is a web hosting service to which we have to submit our web page for hosting purpose. Step number 3 is registering the correct domain name. There are several domains available. For example, .in is India, .org means organizational domain, .edu means educational domain. So as per the requirement, we need to register using the domain name. Then step 4 is planning for the website. So when coming to the planning, these are the 3 important steps. So first we need to plan for the type of website. Then secondly, planning for the navigation design, how we can able to traverse the website. Thirdly, what will be the content of our websites. These are 3 important things in planning. Then next is testing the website. First one is running the website on multiple browsers as possible. Secondly, use multiple operating systems to load the web page. Thirdly, check for the connection speed when the web page is loading. Fourthly, test the website on different devices or different screen sizes. For example, you can run the web page on a desktop or a laptop or mobile or tab. So the screen size will differ. We need to check on whether the website is running on all the screen sizes. Then fifth is checking for the hyperlinks which is given in the web page, whether the links are working properly or not. And at last, security testing, checking the all types of vulnerabilities in the web page to identify it as earlier as possible. Now last topic of this first unit is client side and server side scripting. So server side scripting is nothing but the code which will run on the server side. So for this particular server side scripting, we need to have an external server to run. For example, Apache server or Tomcat server. And these are the various features of the server side scripting. That is, it is connected with the data access. It can do the error handling and data processing also. It processes and it can interact with the server. It uses a highly integrated programming language. Now next is the client side scripting. This scripting will run on the client's browser itself. No need for an external server, and directly we can able to run this particular HTML code. So various scripting languages are the CSS, JavaScript and VBScript. So the features of this client side scripting includes, it is intended to run within the web page itself. So it enables a greater involvement with the clients and it can able to validate the programs which is being written. Then third one is, there is no need to contact with the server. It is going to run in the browser itself. So with this, the first unit is over. Thank you.